Our brother Jake, mashallah, one thing I really appreciate about him from many other things is that he's been through many different phases.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joe. This is Bringing the Truth, and I saw this video and I wanted to comment. This is Jake the Snake building this video off of a false premise. He starts off with a lie, and he ends strong with even more lies and misinterpretations. I just saw this video and I thought it was very funny. I saw the first few minutes of it. I said I had to comment on it. I had to make a video about it. It's just ridiculous, God Logic and David Wood, those guys, they don't have to lie about the religion. They just read about what the religion says. This guy has to go and lie about it. So let's hear what he lies about.
I'm Jake Brancatella, and today's video is not clickbait. Some people may be shocked by the thumbnail or the title of this video, but it is the honest reality regarding the Bible and the Christian God, Jesus Christ himself. And all of these beautiful things according to what the Christians would like to tell us. But for anyone who doesn't know, most Christians believe that Jesus Christ was God, God in the flesh, God and man at the same time. Very confusing doctrine, but nevertheless, they believe that he was God.
But we distinguish God the Father in the Old Testament and Jesus in the New Testament, although there are verses where we can see that, Jesus pre-existed his incarnation. What he's going to try to do right here is try and make it seem like Jesus is the one that was speaking.
Well, if Jesus is or was God, he's the second person of the Trinity, the Son, then that means that whatever is deemed to be revelation from God in the quote-unquote Old Testament or the Jewish scriptures would be revelation from Jesus Christ himself. The second person of the Trinity, the Son, commands that women who are raped be forced to marry their rapist for just 50 shekels. Pay close attention to this video, and I will respond to a few key responses or objections to what I'm going to claim from Christian apologists. Let's take a look at the passage. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 22, verses 28 and 29.
I'm just going to read it because he's annoying me. If a man happens to meet a virgin who has not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her and can never divorce her as long as he lives.
But people are going to object. But Jake, this is the NIV. We reject the NIV translation. We want to go to King James Version. Let's look at the NET Bible.
Looks like he cut out that piece for some reason, but he pointed out the NIV, the NEV, right? He also mentioned the KJV. He's like, hey, Jake, well, what about the KJV? Why didn't he bring up the KJV? Because it doesn't render it that way in the KJV. The word in Deuteronomy 25:27, where it does talk about rape, the word used for that to signify rape, right, is shazak, violent seizing, used in conjunction with lying with her, right? A violent seizing and lying with her. And then in Deuteronomy 22:28 through 29, it uses the word either tepas or tefas, which still means seizing, but it's not a violent seizing. To lay hold on, right? In the whole context of that chapter, God is dealing with evil. He is punishing evil. So it would make no sense that in verses 28 and 29 in Deuteronomy 22, that he would reward the man with the woman that he raped. That makes absolutely no sense. That's why it's a dishonest, and I say it's built off a false premise, in my opinion.
NET Bible says, when you scroll down, suppose a man comes across a virgin who is not engaged and overpowers and rapes her, and they are discovered. The man who has raped her must pay her father 50 shekels of silver, and she must become his wife because he has violated her. He may never divorce her as long as he lives. And there are several other English translations which convey the exact same meaning. Now, I will admit that there are some translations that do not translate the word as rape in this context. but I will demonstrate that this is clearly the contextual meaning.
I really don't care. The whole point of me making this video was Jake is being dishonest. He clearly mentioned the KJV. He doesn't give us the KJV reading. There's clearly a violent type of seizing, and there's a seizing, and there's a different way of talking back then, right? If you read the previous verses of the chapter, you'll see God is punishing evil. And this makes no sense for God to reward the evil. It's not, it doesn't. So let me see.
But some people are already thinking, well, Jake, why does this even matter to Christians? Because Christians don't follow the Old Testament law anymore. Jesus came to do away with that in some sense, or he supersedes it. And Christians are following the New Testament law. Well,
he's right about that. We don't live by the law any longer, right? If you're a Christian, you're watching this. Yes, we don't live by it. And that law was created for the Jews. They were living at that time. So no, it doesn't apply to us. This is how they were supposed to live. Even if you tried to charge us with that, which you can't, it was for the Jews how to live back then.
That doesn't matter. That's totally irrelevant to the objection and to the argument.
That's very relevant.
According to Christians, is the same God of the Old Testament. Did your loving God, Jesus, as presented in the Bible, order that women who are rape victims, be forced without their consent to marry the rapist?
No, he did not. Emphatically, no, he did not. So I'm just going to end it here because, you know, this argument with Jake is simply put to rest by asking him, okay, Jake, what does the King James Version say? Does it read rape? And he would say no. And you would then understand that this is a translation issue. If he wants to render it that way, then that's fine. But then we get to now go and take their hadiths and translate it in the worst possible way, in the worst possible light for them also. And they would have to accept it. If they don't accept it, then they understand we don't have to accept his translation of it. He's trying to redeem himself because he lost really bad the argument to God logic. Better spoken people than me are going to destroy this argument. But that's it for me. Y'all have a good night. God bless y'all. I just wanted to point out this guy's a liar, and he's falsely representing our beliefs and forcing a translation upon us that we don't have to accept.
If the Quran is actually explaining everything, why do I need another source? I didn't understand this.